I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Money has one purpose. It buys choice. Who would have thought? Well, you're going to find out because my lovely guest thought about it. And we're going to have a conversation in and around that today. But before we do that, here's a word from my shameless plug sponsor, myself. Here we go. So have you ever had a question you wanted to ask somebody, maybe a business coach? Maybe it's a question around time, team, money, exit strategy, or success strategy. What's next kind of sort of thing. Maybe it's around sales or marketing. If that is you, or if you know somebody who would like to ask a business coach a question, well, guess what? I am one. But I'm also, more importantly, part of a global group. So if I don't have the answer, I can certainly do an introduction, and you won't need a credit card just to have a coaching conversation and see if we can help you with that initial question. In a way, you get to meet a couple of interesting people by doing that. And if you're watching this live, thank you for being here today. And if you're watching this on a replay, certainly let me know where you're coming from. And if you have a question, put them in your message with the hashtag replay. Man, am I excited today? I'm going to get to talk about money has one purpose. It buys choice. Because you know the things we have that are materialistic, when we leave this physical plane, we can't take any of that with us. So my guest today specializes in that. Matter of fact, she's dedicated her life to helping people in the area of prosperity around the world in her business and in their clients' businesses. And she has this contagious energy and sense of humor as she teaches coaches and just have a conversation. You're going to learn and experience some of that for yourself today. And she likes to refer to herself as or people have called her this, as the resource guru. So I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm going to get Mickey to come up here with me right now. Hello. Good day, Mickey. Thank you for
How are you? And here we are together again.
Here we are. Yeah, it's been a while, but we're here and it's awesome.
And we get to talk about my favorite topic.
What's that? Money?
You? No. Oh. Choices.
Yeah,
We talk about choices. Right? Money will buy us some, but some choices would be super fun.
Yeah. Well, like we both made a choice to show up and share some time together today, right?
I do. Yeah.
So there's a choice.
There's a choice. Now, so, I was going to ask you, just out the gate, you had lots of choices of what I could talk about today. And this one you picked. Give me more.
Did.
What made you pick this one?
Well, I went to do a little bit of sleuthing and stalking in a positive way to find out a little bit more about you. And what I found was this phrase in your about page. And I thought, oh, this is what we're going to start talking about. At least the theme of today will be about that. And what it spoke to me is that no matter who the guru is, they have some way of talking about this in a positive way, money. And some people say money is the root of all evil, and that's not true. It's what you do with it. So if you're a nasty person making more money, you just become a bigger, nastier person. If you're quiet and subdued and you make a lot of money, well, you're in your quiet and subdued sort of way, you help other people out. If that's where you are, where you start, that's where you'll be, where you have more abundance. So what I liked about it was it ties into the thought, and my beliefs is money is everywhere, and it's an energy, and it's what we do to draw that to us and the people to us that make life an interesting, wonderful ride.
Yeah.
That's why it spoke to me.
Well, I like it. Well, one, I made it up. And it is kind of an incantation, right, over our lives. It takes it out of all of that as an action item, right? That manifestation of pulling things to us is kind of a different part of the process. But once we get it, it really is like, now what? Now how am I going to interact with this? And what does it do? And a lot of times we're stuck in, it belongs to everybody else but me, right? That's a whole nother piece. But when you just break it down to it, it makes it easy to understand that if I give you money, I'm going to give you some choices too, right? So it takes it away from all of those things about how we give philanthropy, who we do business with. That, if I'm going to do business with a company that has lots of crummy things that it does in general, right? I'm giving that company choices. I'm giving you choices. If I'm going to give you a Christmas gift, sometimes people give you the illusion of choices and they don't really give you choices. So like if somebody's ever given you a gift and they really expect you to do something specific with it, right? They taint it, right?
It's conditioned.
It's conditioned, right? That's not really a gift. That's really a crumminess.
It's kind of a form of manipulating.
It is, but I look, passive aggressive stuff that happens all the time. But it's really about saying, look, let's take all there's therapy for all of that. But if you just look at money as it's an opportunity to give choice, have choice, make choices. I'm sure you've made a lot of great choices with money.
Yeah. And some, whoops. But I always learn with the transference of it. And I'm just trying to remember how I heard this. Well, besides with my ears. I did hear it with my ears. But before there was a currency like we're see it today, paper and metal, coins and paper. And now there's other choices, but just to keep it simple. There was that was somebody would, before we had organized society the way it is now, they'd be hunting for their meals and you would need arrows for your hunt process, right? So they didn't have money to exchange. So the fellow who made the arrows would go provide arrows, and then he would get payment by either the skins or the meat from the hunt. Well, if you had too much meat or didn't get any more skins, then you couldn't get any more arrows, right? So then you couldn't go hunting. So then the possibility for abundance was removed because now you have no arrows that you starved to death. Now that's a little bit dramatic, but with the
not in business. Not in business. If you're out of arrows in business, you're out of arrows.
Yeah. So what do? You go out. You're out of business, right? So what the money portion does is it provides a way for the exchange of services. So maybe the guy doesn't need any more meat. He's got enough meat, but you can give him money now that he can take the money and go buy something else. So really, it's just a different way of bartering, isn't it? It's an exchange of services and values across, and money is a tool that makes that happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, that's the exchange portion of it, right? And so that's really, how and why are we exchanging? What I like about money only has one purpose. It really talks about the purpose of it in all of our lives, in all of the exchanges, in the greater kind of over, what shelters over all of the conversation. And what shelters over all of the conversation is not just, is this an energetic exchange? Is this maybe a gift within a gift? It's really just to say, look, over all of it, no matter whether you're magnifying it, manifesting it, exchanging it, the purpose of money is still the same. It's only going to buy you some choices.
And choices are great, aren't they?
Well, I think.
Or just having the ability.
Well, what I spend a lot of my time doing as a business person and advising other businesses is to let them know what their choices are and what are those costs. You do that a lot because I specialize in just finances, right? How do it do it? And so I spend a lot of time talking about money.
Money is a hot topic.
It's delicious.
Delicious, yeah. One of my mentors when I was studying him, still, his name's Lou Tice. He's no longer with us, hasn't been for a while. But one of the things he used as a testimonial to those training and experiences he would bring to you as an organization or individual is, there was an example. Somebody was in the life insurance business and they had their quota and they weren't doing very well, and the company invited Lou to come in and give him an opportunity to work with this particular individual because the individual was on his risk of being out the door and having to find another career. So Lou and his company, what they did is they worked with this individual, and I forget the exact numbers, but let's say he had $1 million budget and he was nowhere near that. So he meets, and he had 12 months to accomplish that. And if he was moving towards that in terms of the metrics and it looked like he was closing the gap from 0 to 1 million, then it would have been okay, but he wasn't closing the gap enough. But I guess they must have liked this guy. So they brought in Lou, and he actually got the guy to think a little bit differently and got him to a point where not only did he meet and exceed, he'd actually exceeded that. And not only did he do it in 12 months, he did it in a month. Right? So anything's possible if you have belief in yourself, belief in what you bring to the table, and are willing to do the work. It doesn't have to be hard work. I don't think working hard is the key by itself, because there's a really good example about a fly. You know, we've all seen flies, and they come in our house, and how the hell do they get in? I don't know, somebody left the door open, or they sneak in. They're pretty clever, but they're not that clever because they're trying to get out, and they're trying to get out that big window where they can see the outside and they can see the sky and the sun, and they're bashing themselves against the glass window and to their peril, because, you know, a couple of days later you see them on a windowsill dead from exhaustion. So doing it the hard way is not necessarily the best way to do things. Do it in a creative and innovative sort of fashion makes much more sense. All that fly had to do was, it could fly, for crying out loud. Find another opportunity. Make a different choice and fly out the door it came in. Maybe it was still open.
We all think we can see the outcome.
Yeah, we limit ourselves by thinking we need to know how to get there. That's the sad part, because we don't. We need to invent it along the way, but we don't need to know how to do it exactly today. So if I was going to add 100 people to do what I do in my company, and I really not crystal clear on how to do that, I have some ideas around doing that, and do it in a year, build an organization up that quickly, that fast. Some people say, how are you going to do that? Honestly, I would say, well, I'm not totally sure, but I'm going to think about the end result and see what I can invent and create along the way. And that has served me really well. If we know what we want and why we want it, and stifle the how, unless of course it's pulling us towards it, then that works. The how is an important piece of the puzzle. There's no doubt about it. But we sometimes, or often, people will stifle their opportunities by backing up their goal to something that they believe they can see getting, versus going after something that they really, really, really want. They go after something they kind of sort of want, and they might or might not get it. And if they don't get it, they go, well, I didn't really want it anyway. Well, why not go after what you really want? Because we only have so many hours in our life to live, don't we?
Well, I kind of feel like the how, the way that I talk about it is the how elephant. So, right, it's the how elephant. It's like it's standing in the middle of my tightrope,
Right.
Of like, here's my motive, right? Here's my motive. This is why I want to do this. And I usually I'm pretty headstrong, right? And then on the outcome, right, we've got this outcome on the other side. And then I have this big fat how elephant in the middle. And it's like, what am I going to do with you? Am I going to dance with you? Am I going to try to climb over you? I'm on a tightrope here. I got a timeline, right? And that how elephant is just, it's everyone's game. It's everyone's game. It's the how elephant.
Yeah, how can be our friend or it can be our foe.
Right. It could have been my dance partner. I didn't know. I didn't know, but we all just go, oh my gosh, there's this elephant. It's in the middle of my tightrope.
I like how you've chosen the elephant as the emoji in today's world.
Right.
I have a book written. I forget who the author is. I'm looking over there, ladies and gentlemen, because that's where my shelf of books are. And I wear glasses. You think I can see? No, I can't. I'm just messing with you. But it's the elephant and the ant, or the ant and the elephant. And what it's talking about or referencing in that book is the ant is our conscious mind and the elephant is our subconscious mind. And all we have to do is get in alignment, get the two of them working together. And that damn elephant can carry you all over the place, more so than where the ant can go by itself. So I thought it was a pretty good metaphor. The ant.
Well, it can carry all the ants.
What's that?
It can carry all of the ants.
Yes, that's right.
It's not just one. It can carry all of them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we could have like a cruise party on the elephant.
Elephant, and the elephant does all the work, so it's not hard for the ants.
Right.
The elephant does all the hard work.
Right.
The ant or the elephant does the heavy lifting. I don't think ants weigh that much, do they?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting, and when we look at just money in general, I think people get really elephanty.
Well, in the lack sense, right?
Look, there's so much financial trauma out in the world. It's a limitless sea that we could swim through. Of how many business owners have trauma, how many business owners have financial trauma. That especially if you failed a bunch of times, you feel a little uncomfortable around the choices or around money or around your relationship.
Well, this elephant theme is brilliant because an elephant never forgets. And what you're talking about is the elephant says, have I seen anything like this before? Oh, shit, yes, I had. I don't want it again. But just because we've seen it before doesn't mean we're going to replicate it again. Now we've seen it before. We can say, okay, last time we saw this, this is how it showed up. This is what I didn't know. This is what I learned. Let's try something different. It's all about what? Choices.
Choice.
That's
all around choice.
That's why we picked. That's why this title spoke to me.
Right. So it's a favorite topic for me too. It's a favorite topic to me. And again, I think if I were going to, out of just today's topic, have you ever? I was thinking about what your guests would probably enjoy. Is also the book Profit First. Have you ever read that book? I'm sure you have.
I think it's on my shelf.
Yeah, it's probably on your shelf.
I think so.
But that's another book that I think is really helpful in kind of the. It's another how elephant way to think about things of how to get just more of your money working for you as a business owner. So it's another just tool out there.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, or have you heard about it? Excuse me.
Around of the book? Well, again, it's again the same concept, right? Paying yourself first and how to pay yourself first, and that is, been a conversation in humanity for all time.
There's I'm going to almost said ancient book, but it's not ancient, but it's based on an ancient story, and that's The Richest Man from Babylon.
It's my favorite book.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When I came into this field, my mentor said to me, he goes, I'm gonna give you this book, and it'll change the way you think about money. And he was right. He was right. It gave me just another way to talk about the story, because this is our story.
Yeah.
That I, as a small business owner, and I've built many businesses, and so have you, but they're giant art projects that there's this creative, amazing art project that gets a little splatty and dirty and funky sometimes, and we also want to enjoy it. And a lot of times we're not really sitting back and enjoying it. We're really looking for all the flaws.
Yes, and I'm just ruminating on some things, and I was listening to something I'm a big fan of again today, just from a different person saying the same thing. And there's, again, choices. We could push ourselves through the journey, or we could be pulled by the journey. Steve Jobs, I think most people have heard of him. And I don't think I have it here. Let me have a look. No, I don't. But I saw this post a little while ago, and it really speaks to me, because it's, if we go after what we really want, more likely to get it. So the way he described it was, if we go after something we're really excited about, that really speaks to us, we won't have to be pushed. That vision will pull us. So when we can get in that state of mind to do things and live life on a want to, choose to, love it basis, then life's a lot easier. And it's a subtle change between I have to change that to I get to, or I choose to. And even if it's a mundane activity, like we're talking about what I was doing before I started going on the live stream with you today, and that was, I was working on accounting. And accounting's not my favorite place to hang out with, kind of takes my energy away in so many ways. But it's something I know that's an important piece of what I do that needs to get done. But I don't have to do it, because, if I don't do it, I just, I'll get fined or go to court, whatever it is, because I'm not reporting my accounting activities to the government, because we do have governments in our country that because of them we get to do some things, and one of the rules of engagement is that you must report what you do. So I choose to do it on a want to basis more than I have to. And even though it's not my favorite thing to do, I'm less resistant to do the mundane activity that's an important piece, because I don't like the consequences. I don't want to pay any more than I have to. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to lose any of my assets because of my rationales not to do it. So I choose to do stuff. It's not my happy place, but I choose to do it because the consequences are better by choosing to do it rather than not doing it. So pulling myself.
You and I talked about that you were like, oh, I did my accounting. I'm like, oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I don't feel that way.
That's
Okay?
actually right.
Like I would have gone to that same equation and went, oh my gosh, let me quick get some of this accounting, knocked out.
So some people get to that place where they get to that 0-0 and they go, yes, I made it. And I go, yes, I'm glad you did that. Right.
Yeah. Well, I like accounting in general because it's a roadmap.
Yes.
And I like that roadmap. I find value in that. I find value in numbers giving us clues, and they're interesting. And what I also like about money, the same thing I like about numbers, is that they can be a prediction, right? That they can give you some information that allows you to really look backwards, to look forwards, to look sideways, to also create really, really amazing things in the world.
And I don't disagree with you. It's just not my favorite activity to do. So play to my strengths is what I attempt to do. So I do what I need to do to get it to my team member, my CPA and his company. They do all that stuff that excites you, and he does it really well, and he does it really fast. And you go, wow, this is awesome. I like what it shows me, versus many of the people that I've come across in the role as a business coach and transformation coach in the business, is that many of the smaller size businesses are living and doing their accounting in a shoebox. Literally. And they're hoping at the end of the year have some money to invest or spend or whatever. But that's not being in control. So I would encourage.
Well, that's why I brought the book up. That book will help them. The
absolutely.
book will really help those shoebox entrepreneurs. Yeah,
they need a team. They need an accountant and an attorney. I use that because it starts with A, but up here we have lawyers. But an accountability buddy.
Yeah.
So that's where the coaching piece comes into it. At least those three need to be part of their team. and having conversations with them on a regular basis. And the ones that do that tend to get more, as like my theme song says, get more shit done. Because then they can focus on their strengths, the things they love to do, and they can ride the elephant, be the ant, and go where they want to go.
Yeah.
That's what I like about that.
Well, even for my own self, I mean, that you've had coaching, I've had coaching. There's no, you don't get to be you without help.
No, you need help.
And
I need help. We all need help.
I need help. And everybody out here needs a little, extra thought. I mean, we're all searching for that. We're all searching for something that helps us put it together. And, there's no coach out there that doesn't have a coach too. That
well, not if they're authentic, right? There are some that, well, I can't afford a coach, and you're a coach. So those people haven't figured it out yet, but that's not everyone. The high achieving, the highly effective coaches have coaches. That's been my experience. And I've been officially in this profession for the last 14 years with this particular company. But I've been in the coaching space pretty much most of my life, I think. Certainly entrepreneurial space, but whether it be coaching athletes or being an athlete on a team, coaching makes a difference. They see things in us, in our businesses, in our organizations that we're like the horse with the blinders on. We don't see it, and it's right there. We just don't see it because we're so focused on what we think is important. And if we go back to that fly thing, the fly's trying to get out the window, we can be that person that gives them another option. You could go this way. Have you ever thought of going this way? Right? It could be that simple. So coaching can double your effectiveness. And whether you're a business coach, a life coach, an athletic coach, a personal coach, coaching is an important piece of our lives today. There's so much stuff coming at us that we can be overwhelmed by things. And if we have somebody who can support us and guide us, they don't have to have all the answers. Often we have the answers right here. It's up to us to take accountability for ourselves. It's just having somebody in our on our team that supports us in moving forward. This time goes so fast.
It's so fast.
I want to make sure that I bring up what I said I was going to bring up here. There we go. I think
I'm finding me later, right? I'm on LinkedIn. It's easy to find me.
Yeah, so I'm
the only person with my name on the planet. So if they just look at the screen, there's only one. And there's our secret page.
Well, what's this? I got
a Facebook page.
I have an expiry thing going on here. What's going on? How come they're popping in? Trying to sell this stuff. I want to make this even easier for anybody who's watching this now or in the future. We're going to go here. That is your actual website, which I've got this backwards, but they can find you there. What we're looking at here is your LinkedIn page, correct?
No, that's Facebook.
Let's go there first. Look at that. Yeah. There's the Facebook URL so they can read it.
Yep.
And then I'm going to switch with the magic of technology.
So we are on LinkedIn.
You can find her on LinkedIn, and we can also go to her website, which is right there.
And the LinkedIn your news feed is on now, but again, the name will give you everything.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm going to go click on you because there you are. Look at that.
And there I am with my smiley face.
There we go.
Yes.
And if you just
there I am taking a picture of myself.
Wow. Oh, look, we got somebody who popped in. Let's see what they're saying.
Yeah.
This is a buddy of mine. He's in Massachusetts. Near Cape Cod. He's a really interesting dude. He's been on the show too.
Good.
Wow, man. Can you believe it? Like, time just evaporates when you're having fun.
But you and I get to be together again.
I know. When's that happening?
Yeah. So we'll be together again in another month. And we can talk about some other things around money and choices and prosperity and magnifying and anything else you want to talk about.
I think it'll be wonderful. And I will promote it in our social media streams, and people can come and hang out with us.
And so what I feel like there's still a secret here.
Secret.
I feel like there's still a secret that you have on the best thing you ever. What's the best choice you've ever made with money?
The best choice I've made. Gosh,
I would take a wandering, even in the top 10. What?
Well, something when I was mentioning the mentor that I'd been studying for years, but I never got off my butt to go visit him when he was alive in Seattle. And I'm in my office thinking out loud, and my significant other at the time, and I was giving myself, I had all these saboteur things going on in my life because of that voice in our head that talks us out of our greatness. We can fix that though. That's fixable. Anyway, she was listening to me talk about if you know what you want and why you want it and stifle the how, you can create almost anything in your life. Doesn't mean you'll get everything, but just think of who you become in the process of getting there. And you'll be bigger, bolder, and brighter, however that's defined for you. It doesn't mean you have to be, you don't have to be an extrovert if you're an introvert. You just be even more efficaciously you. And the voice, because I have an open planned house, and she was in the living room area, and I'm up in the office area, and talking out loud. She says, "Phil, it sounds like you're stuck in your how." I went, "Holy crap, she does listen to me." I wasn't that a lot. It wasn't a huge amount of money. It was about $3,000 or $4,000 for the weekend with Lou Tice in Seattle, to hang out with him and a bunch of other people from around the globe. There were about 500 or so of us. And the things I learned, the people I met, it was a MasterCard moment. And when I was thinking limitingly about, oh, that's a lot of money, I could use that to grow my business and invest it in marketing and have more clients and have more impact. But when she said, "You're stuck in your how, it seems, Phil," I went, "You're right." So I booked it right away and have no regrets. As a matter of fact, if I had not have gone and met all those people, I would never have had the opportunity to have a photo op and share a meal and a glass of wine with Lou Tice, because on April 1st the following year, he passed away. Wow. So it was not a ton of money, but if we look at the economics of that, I can't say how much it's impacted me financially for the long haul, but it's been massive. I don't have any math to support that, but I can say that as a result of the way I changed the way I was thinking, hanging out with those people and coming back to my home, I did 16 grand over and above the investment that I put into it. Yeah. And what I became because of that investment in time, money, and energy. So it allowed for choices, and it made my life a little bit brighter.
Well, and again, I think where I would go with that is, and then there's something about a T-shirt you bought.
This is raising money for this cause, and right now they're sending money to the Ukraine to support them. So I bought a couple of shirts. I can't wait till they get here. Once they get here, I'll do an opening package and put them on Facebook. That's what Ron does. He's a very giving guy.
Oh, I'm gonna love. Well, I can't wait to meet you, Ron. But what it sounds like, right? Best choice you ever made with money was to invest in your own dream.
Yeah.
Right. To invest in your own journey and the things that make you amazing. And I think that's always a good choice. And I think that's what everybody can take away from our time today.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing before we wrap this up, and then we'll maybe make a sequel out of it, is that money is just nothing more than energy. And what it allows us to do is to make other things happen. So why not make whatever why not think about money in the terms of energy? And if you're making whatever you're making this month, whatever you're making this year, what if you could make it in a month? What would that do for your choices? How would that elevate your energy? Who would you help if you had all the money in the world that you needed to do what you wanted to do? Think about what it is you want to do. Don't worry about the how. Just focus on, ideally, who you'd like to show up as when you get to the end of this road on the physical plane. And are you full of regrets, or do you have you're not, you've done it. So think about life that way. I don't know. It's what I would do. It's what I do as best I can.
So good. Well, I'm so glad we had our time together today, and
too.
I'll get to see you again soon.
Absolutely. And you're going to hang out for just a second. I'm going to wrap this up and get ready for finishing off the day. So thank you for being here. What a treat for me, and a treat
Bye,
for the
everybody.
audience. Thank you. Wow, wasn't that great? It does make the option of having choices. That's what money does. Money's not evil unless you do evil things with it. And I want to just remind you guys and gals that you are wonderful. The you and wonderful is there on purpose, is to remind us to be wonderful, our unique self. One of my teachers, mentors from decades ago introduced this concept to me, and I'm sharing that with you now. So go out and be yourself. Be wonderful.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.